In this lecture, we will talk about data pre-processing. In particular, we're going to look at how to detect and how to remove the errors or outliers from the dataset. So there are many different ways to do that. We can look at the descriptive static of the input or target variables. For example, we can look at minimum value and maximum values of the data. We can also look at mean, median, standard deviations. And many times, if we see some weird number, for example, 999, that's a common error code. And we also have some more formal statistical methods to do detection of the errors. For example, we use z-score, and we can use box plot in the graph plot nodes. And in SAS Enterprise Miner, we can use a node called filter node. So we're going to use the HMEQ data we analyzed, and we're going to illustrate how to use filter node to figure out the outlier and errors in the dataset. So we're going to first open the SAS Enterprise Miner in the virtual machine of Purdue University, and then we'll click SAS Enterprise Miner. And we're going to load the project we just analyzed last time. So open project. And my project is in my W folder, GMT 571. And we'll open the project called start. All right. And then remember, we have the HMEQ analysis in the diagram. So we just open that. Okay, so we have the file import. We have already imported the data set to the diagram, and we have export. And this lecture, we're going to focus on the filter node. So we're going to add a node, and that's a filter. So you see filter, that's under sample tool. All right, and then we're going to connect the file import to filter. All right, if you look at the property menu of the filter node, you can see, so we have class variables and we have interval variables. So there are different ways to filter out errors in the data set based on if the data is class variable or the interval variable. So if we look at the class variable, if we click the default filtering methods, so we have option of count rare values by count and rare values by percentage. Okay, so if we go back to the slides, basically rare values by count, that means we just drop the rare levels that have a count or frequency less than the minimal frequency cutoff. Okay, so if you specify count equals 1, then if this class variable has a level that is less than 1, we're going to remove this variable. And similarly, you have real values of percentage, then just will drop the real levels that occur proportions lower than the minimum cutoff of the percentage. Okay, and let's go back to the SAS Enterprise Miner. So the default one is percentage, and the minimum cutoff for percentage is 0.01. So that's the default choice. So you can change this value to whatever you want. And minimal frequency cutoff is for the option if we choose count. Okay. So that's for the class variable. You can also specify the filter method by click the class variables. So you can do that manually. So click these 3 dots in the class variables, and you have the interactive class filter. All right, so here's the interactive class filter. So in our data set, we have 3 variables: bad, job, reason. These 3 variables are class variable. Okay, and for the filtering methods, you can choose the default one, or you can choose the minimal frequency and minimal percentage. You can also specify the minimal frequency cutoff manually here. Okay, so that's the interactive class filter for the class variable. So a second option is for the interval variables. So for the interval variable, you can see for default filtering methods, we have a lot of options. So first one, the default one is a standard deviation from the mean. And the default choice, if we specify standard deviation from the mean, the default choice is a 3 standard deviation from the mean. And we have the MAD method. You can also use user specified limits, or you can use model center and extreme percentage, and so on and so forth. So I have an introduction of all these methods in the lecture notes. For example, MAD method, the median absolute deviation, that to say, we want to remove all the values that is outside of the media plus minus n times the MAD. Okay, and the definition of MAD is that that's a media of each value minus the media of the data, take absolute values. And for the n, the default choice in SAS Enterprise Miner is 9. Okay, so here's the illustration of the data. So in case we have data 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 12. And let's see how the MAD method works in this case. So if we have 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 12. So that's our data set. And we're going to figure out what's the outlier based on the MAD measure. So the first step is to figure out what's the media. So the media, after we sort the data, that's the media. Okay? Media is 2. And then we calculate the difference between each value and the media and take absolute values. So that'll be 1, 1, 0, 0, 2, 4, 10. And then we're going to find the media of this expression. So in order to find the media, we need to sort the data 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, 10. So now the media is 1. So this is called MAD. So MAD equals 1. And then MAD method treat the media plus minus n times MAD as the range of normal data. So that will be 2 plus minus 9 times MAD1. Then the range will be -7 to 11. So any data that is outside this range will be treated as outlier. Okay. So in our original data set, you can see 12 is outlier. So by MAD method, 12 will be removed for the remaining analysis. Okay. And then similarly, we have standard deviation from the mean, and that will be 3 standard deviation from the mean, will be the normal range of the data. You can use extreme percentile, model center, and user specify. You can manually specify the range for the normal data. All right. So that's filter, and let's use the default one, and you can just run the filter node. Okay, so it's finished, and then we can take a look of the results of after the filtering node. Then you will get a data. So here, so you can see the limits for the interval variable, minimum, maximum. We use standard deviation to remove, and the exclude class values. There's no exclude class values. Okay. So you can see the summary information. Our original data row, that's the train data. So original data, we have 5,960, and we have excluded this many data, and that's the remaining one. Okay. And then you can use the remaining one for the future data analysis. So that's the end of the filtering node.